Real quick update video. There ain't really much to show you, but it's been quite a while since I've uploaded a video of this truck. Nothing's really happened on the rear end. I think since maybe from the last video. I'll have to look back. New shock absorbers on the back. That's as far as this goes. Yesterday I changed the gearbox as the one that was in it. Well, first of all, you couldn't find the gears properly. It didn't centralise the stick into the middle, so you didn't know where third and fourth was, and it didn't drive like I was expecting. I know the gear ratios are different. That's probably most of the problem, and also fourth and fifth had a horrible rumble. Whether or not a bearing had gone or whatever had happened, the gearbox had to go. So in the parts truck, as you've seen in the past, I've pulled the gearbox out of that. But then the transfer box had a problem with the bearings. So I ended up having to take the transfer box off of this truck, put it onto the gearbox of the other truck, and then put it back into this, and then both the bad gearbox and transfer box put back together and put back into the donor truck, so I could get that moving. Didn't drive very well, but it moved, so that was good enough. Then whilst doing that, I found out that the hub seal had gone in here. You might see the oil in there. I don't know if you can. You can see the wet in there. Yeah, hub seal had gone, and then when I jacked it up, I found out it's the wheel bearing gone, which is annoying because I've replaced that wheel bearing and seal. I didn't do this one because I thought it was still good, but obviously it wasn't. So I got to do that in the next. Well, no, actually, it won't be this week because it's going for paint this week. This truck, hopefully definitely this time in 2 weeks, it will be Riviera Blue. And after that, I'll be getting all the cab sorted out. The bearing and that will just have to wait for a bit. I want to get the cab done, get that out of the way, so it's going to, like I said, in a week's time, tomorrow it's going in to get painted. They're going to be filling up any dents or rust spots or any of that crap. Anyway, they'll paint just the cab. I've got that spare truck. All the doors and wings will go onto this. The interior, everything will get stripped, put into here. The cab will then be done. Then I'll be moving on to the repairs because I've built a flatbed. I've got some pictures here. I never videoed it because it's just so tight in my garage. Literally, this is all the room I've got. Literally, it's my toolbox just about fits between the tyre and the workbench. It's so awkward trying to make a video in here. I thought I'd just make an update video so you can see. Yeah, there's just not much more I can really tell you. I don't know if I explained the rear leaf springs on this truck. F77 leaf springs. You can tell by the shackle, the angle is. It's this rubbish really. If it goes up any more, there ain't really much stopping that shackle from flipping over. But once the weight's on it, I've tested it with the flatbed. It does take it down to a safe place where the leaf spring won't flip over. So I'm not going to worry about that too much. But yeah, F75 springs do fit the truck. There are some issues for people who want to do it to save some money. First of all, the springs are bolted in backwards, meaning that that's actually meant to be the back. So that's meant to be the front of the leaf spring. I'm pretty sure that they are backwards because obviously the handbrake cable's there, but the mounting point for it is there, which I'm pretty sure it should be round the other way. Now think about it, I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure these are backwards, plus you have to undo this stud, turn it over so it goes in the correct way, because obviously the leaf spring on F75 goes underneath. And then these bushes in the back, they're just a mess of F75 bushes and some spare poly bushes I've had in the past, and I just cut them until it all fitted in there. It's done the job. I think it'll be fine. We can only assume. I've got to see once it's on the road. So that's the springs. Anyway, so I've stripped the cab as much as I can. As you can see, it's absolutely stupid in here, but I've stripped the cab as much as I can. Sorry for the little light. Again, workshop small, there ain't much room for light. I've painted all the floor black because that's where I haven't shown you, but I have welded all the floor up over there as well, so the cab is now solid. Obviously the floor's black because I'm, you know, you're not going to see the bottoms. Why? There's no point in getting that painted blue. But yeah, I've got absolutely everything stripped except for this spongy stuff. Whether it was sound deadening or what it was, I don't know. But that's now gone. Sorry, it's not gone, but that's something I've got to try to sort out. Or I might not worry about it too much because again, once the roof lining's in, you won't see it. So there's not really much point in sorting it out. Yeah, but yeah, in here, stripped as strip can be. I'm sure you saw in the last video, or one of the last videos. No dash, nothing left. All that's left is a shifter, which again, that's the new gearbox. The old transfer box. And then everything else is the same. I got a video of it going up the road. With the camera recording the boost gauge, but it was so shaky. I'll see if I can stabilize the video, but it was so shaky, it was terrible. But it was hitting 20 psi very quickly, thanks to the variable vane turbo. Got a pod filter on there. It was just a quick, dirty, cheap air filter. It cost £15, I think, or 20, something like that. Just so it, you know, it's got clean filtered air going in, and it's not just straight to the turbo. I'm still a little bit worried about oil pressure into the turbo. I have put a restrictor into it because this engine seems to have a lot more flow and pressure than I thought it was going to compared to a TD5, because they're limited to, what are they limited to? 60 psi, 50 psi on the oil pressure. This engine I had up to over 100 psi when cold, and then once you're driving it's running about 80 psi. Does seem quite high, but my other trucks seem to be the same. It could have been a dodgy gauge. But either way, I've put a restrictor into the turbo, and I've looked at the oil flow coming out of the drain, which to me, there's plenty of oil coming out of the drain, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. My concern, well, I had an issue where when I first put it all in, it was actually blowing oil out the exhaust. That's not happening anymore, so I'm hoping I've restricted it enough, but not too much, that it isn't going to wreck the turbo. Yeah, and then when I was doing the gearbox, I did fit an exhaust. I need light, but I haven't got any. Oh, there you go, I've got a little bit of light. I don't know how long it will last, but I fit an exhaust that went down there, and it escapes under there. So it comes out the side of the sill, as you can see. Then I'll have a pipe coming out to here, and then I have a side exit which will run the length of the sill. A bit like, best way of describing it is maybe like, is it like a Cobra sort of thing? I don't know, I know what I'm thinking. I'll put a picture up of the vehicle I'm thinking of. Anyway, that's the turbo. Yeah, the exhaust pipe buggers off. Yeah, you can't see from up here, but yeah, there ain't really much more that's happened. Oh, and I've obviously everything's stripped as far as it can go. Yeah, let me just crawl in, and I'll just show you. Well, I'll show you underneath for some reason. I don't know what I'm going to show you, but I'll just crawl under. Hang on, let me get a bit of plywood or something down. There we go. Well, I have got an oil leak under here. Oh, fuck. It's that fucking bolt. Yeah, so like I said earlier, it's a new gearbox, out the F78. This is still the F77 transfer box. Luckily they never changed anything. The only difference I saw was the strengthening, those vanes, whatever they're called, on the gearbox bell housing. They've obviously added them for strength, but that's the only difference. Everything else is bolted up the same. Yeah, gasket I ripped. Luckily I got it all off, siliconed it up, and so far it's not leaking from there. I have got a leak at the back here, but it was where I snapped a bolt. I've got to try and get the bolt out somehow, but it's gonna have to wait until it's been painted now, because I just haven't got the time for it. But yeah, there ain't really much more to show. The exhaust pipe again from down here. There you go. Straight up on the turbo, up over there. If I can get the angle right, up over there, and it comes out through there. Yeah. But there's literally no more to show you really until it gets painted. I'll see if I can get some pictures and videos when it's being painted, but it's just whether or not I actually get round to getting it done. At the worst, I might even ask them to take some pictures. Oh, there was one more thing. With the leaf springs, it does move the prop shaft out. I think it was 20mm. It's still tight, so I'm not going to worry about it, but it does move your axle backwards 20 to 30mm. So you do need to take that into account. Other than that, those leaf springs are fine as far as I can see. You know, either it was these for 160 quid or 80 quid, or it was 440 quid for the proper ones to be made. But I don't see any point in spending an extra 300 quid. Anyway, that's all I can show you until, yeah, something actually happens. But hopefully the next time I record, I'll have that wheel bearing done and the seal. Hopefully have this oil leak sorted. It's pissed me off, it's done it, but these things happen. Yeah, that's still tight, so I'm not going to worry about that. And yeah, underneath wise, we're about there, so yeah, every next time you get well, the next thing you'll see is either it being painted or it done being painted anyway. Alright. Okay, so luckily, that bolt I showed you earlier where I snapped it off, luckily, because it was only snapped off because of being over tightened and not because the bolt was seizing, I've got a very bad weld on there, but it's enough, it's come out. Very well, I'm doing this video now, it could snap off at any minute, but it's very loose now. Yeah, we got away with that one. All we're doing is find another bolt to go in there. Anyway, yeah, I just wanted to quickly do a video so you can see the bolt is almost all the way out now. Oh, I'm quite grateful for that, really. And it's held on by, what is that, tiniest bit of weld? It's enough that it got out anyway.